What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Just Because Gaming podcast. My name is Michael,
And I'm Ray.
and thank you for joining us. So, one of the things that we wanted to talk about is the big elephant in the room, which is uh, one, yes, we haven't had a podcast in June, and we're sorry, but as you can tell, number two, we have video now.
Yay,
So,
video!
so you get to see our beautiful faces.
And mics.
And one of the things about this is that now, aside from having the audio podcast that you can find on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and all that stuff, is you can also see these podcasts uploaded to YouTube. So you can see these video podcasts. And also, what we're going to be working on is creating a TikTok account and creating little snippets of these podcasts and uploading them there as well. So it's going to be fun and it's going to be interesting. And that's why we weren't able to make a podcast for June, because Ray got himself a brand new laptop, got himself a brand new camera that kind of looks better than mine, I think, but whatever.
We'll get you there, Mike. We'll get you there.
Yeah.
It's taken me a little while to get this equipment together just to get this going. So,
Yeah.
hence the reason our late start on getting our podcasts up. But hopefully we can get back on track with that now.
But so what we wanted to talk about today in our podcast is one of the big things that happened recently. I think this was last month in June. There was the Xbox. What's it called? The Xbox presentation. The
showcase.
Showcase. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Xbox showcase. And like the video game nerds we are, we took little notes down and just thought of a lot of the different things we wanted to talk about, because it was awesome. And if you didn't get the chance to watch the Xbox showcase, it was amazing. And there's so many games that they announced that were coming out or were on the verge of being out or coming out next year. And we were just excited little Justin Bieber fans the whole time.
That's pushing it, but yeah, okay. Starting out with the first games that we saw in the showcase, Playground Studios, which was one I was expecting to see, but not first showing of games, was the new Fable, which I loved all the other Fable games. And this one looks good too. It looks like they maintained the humor from the original games, but they've gone to more of a realistic look, I guess, instead of the cartoony characters that you had in the original Fables.
Yeah, it was kind of weird watching that Fable one. If you're familiar with Fable, then you kind of know how the gameplay is. It's kind of like Sims a little bit, but in my opinion, more entertaining. But the trailer for it, if you haven't seen it, go YouTube it. The teaser trailer, or I don't know if it's the official trailer or the teaser trailer, but it was really weird. Like there was a giant and then a little guy, and it's like I didn't get it, because that's not how the previous Fables were. The previous Fables were like you were creating families and doing very Sims stuff, and this is more. It seemed almost mission based. Like, am I going to have to slay a giant? I didn't really. It seemed very Jack and the Beanstalk for me, but
I think that was just a play on, like the fairy tale stories. I mean, it's called Fable. They did have a lot of references back to the original Fables, like when she walks up and kicks the chicken, and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, nice."
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this was just kind of a sample. Yes, maybe you get to fight a giant at some point in the game. Maybe that's an option. Maybe you don't ever have to go and do that. If it's I'm assuming it'll be more open world than some of the original Fables, where they were kind of just mission based games as well. It was like an adventure game with a sim thrown in there.
Yeah, but it looks interesting. I'll give it a try.
Oh yeah,
one of the other things one of the other things that I know you were excited about was Atlantic City for Fallout 76.
Oh
And
yeah,
even though I'm not a huge Fallout 76 guy, um, it did look interesting. It's just I can't invest time in Fallout 76 because I know that I will get sucked into it because I used to
I
play
did.
way back in the day. I used to play World of Warcraft, and it stole so much of my youth. It stole so much of my time that I know that if I played Fallout 76, I'd be playing it till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then like going to sleep and going to work like a zombie, and then as soon as I'm done with work, playing it again, and like it's like I've got family and I got kids, and I'm like, yeah, hold on. So I don't know if I could do that, but
Right.
uh, but yeah, what did you think about Fallout the Fallout 76 expansion or DLC for Atlantic City?
I think it looked real good. Now, granted, when Fallout 76 first came out, I was on the bandwagon with it from the very beginning. Kind of fell off after playing it for the first couple of hours. It was like, it's kind of an empty, dead world. Then the first update that came out, where they added NPCs and some missions, and the game just it felt like a real Fallout game then. And the expansions since then have just made it better and better. To where I was like you, and I tried to drag you into the world with me. So another game I'd like to talk about was the massive, open world game coming from Ubisoft, in the
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars universe, called Star Wars Outlaws. I like the look of that because it's going to be something where you're playing more of a Han Solo kind of character, going around blasting people with your blaster instead of having to always be a Jedi and cut people down with your lightsaber. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want them to get a lightsaber too, because I mean, it's Star Wars, and when you think of Star Wars, the first thing you think of is the lightsabers. And although I do like the idea of playing a very Han Solo rogue esque type of person, I do want them to be able to use a lightsaber too, kind of like how in Mandalorian, they have the dark saber, just to show that you don't have to be a Jedi to have a light or a Sith to have a lightsaber. I think that would be a really cool addition to it. Like even if it's just optional to use a lightsaber, and even if the character, the rogues or the whatever they're going to be, smugglers, bounty hunters, whatever, even if they're not that skilled with the lightsaber to be able to like deflect blaster shots, to just be able to cut stuff down, that would still be kind of cool because I don't want them to lose and take out completely the lightsabers in that game because that's just a fun part.
Sure, sure. I'm sure
It
you'd
would
have
make
characters, even if it's not your main character, but I'm sure you'll have characters with lightsabers. You might have to confront Jedi at some point. I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, dude, how awesome would it be if like one of the missions, you like do a sneak attack to a Jedi, and you murder a Jedi and you get their lightsaber. That would be awesome. That You're welcome, Ubisoft. Put
There
that
you
in
go.
there.
Put that
That
in
make that a mission where you have to kill a Jedi. That'd be some legendary difficulty stuff.
there.
But yeah, definitely excited about that. Um, one of the things that kind of caught my attention, and for better or worse, I love the guy, and I know there's no way in hell he's going to see this, but the Keanu Reeves Cyberpunk expansion. So it's called Phantom Liberty. It's coming out September 26th of this year, and for Keanu Reeves, his his whole thing was so awkward, and the audio was kind of weird. Like there's a part of me that wonders if he was even doing that at all, or if they just had his likeness and did like CGI and AI to do it. Because I don't know about you, but like for me, it just sounded so robotic. Like, yes, I love Cyberpunk. This is a great game, you know?
It sounded very scripted, at least, if nothing
Yeah.
else. But
Oh,
have you
yeah.
played any of the Cyberpunk game?
Very little.
Yeah, I went
It's
back and
on my
I had to
to-do
restart it because
list.
it was so long ago since I started it. I like started it, played a little bit of maybe an hour of it, and was like, I don't really remember what I did, so let me go back and restart it. But I've started playing
Yeah.
it again. I've gotten really into it, and since the last few patches they had to fix some of the bugs that were in it, it plays really well, at least on my Xbox Series X.
Really? Huh. I
Yeah,
might have to
and
give it a
it's a
sec.
beautiful looking game.
I might have to give it a second chance because there's some games that I really enjoy, but the futuristic cyber like cyberpunk type theme just for me it gets kind of old quickly. So for games like Cyberpunk and games like Watch Dogs, even though they're really cool and the premise is really cool, I just feel like it's kind of gimmicky and that gimmick kind of wears out kind of quickly. Like another one is I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. I might have been pronouncing this wrong for so long, but Deus Ex or Deus Ex or
Deus
whatever,
Ex. Deus
whatever.
Ex. Yes, I played all of those,
Um,
even back on the original PC version, like for the very
yeah, now I
first
never
one.
played the original ones. I played it when it came to what was it, Xbox One, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it was on the 360, or maybe it
I
was. I don't
don't.
know.
I don't remember
But
now.
but when I played that one, loved it. Although it did after a while. It took me a while to get through. Like I had to force myself to keep playing because the story was great. But I'm just like, okay, I get it. He has robotic powers.
All right, the next game I'd like to talk about was from Compulsion Games. It was one of the first three trailers that they showed. This one, I think, wasn't any gameplay. It was just, showing us a trailer of what the game, kind of give you a hint of what it was going to be like. It's called South of Midnight. I really like the artistic look to it, and the south, the was it Louisiana Bayou, and with the music and she's obviously hunting monsters of some sort. It just had a nice vibe to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what, if anything, that game's going to be about. From what I could glean from things off the internet and all, is you're a weaver, which I guess is kind of like a witch that weaves their spells. I don't know too much about it, but it looks like it could be interesting. So I'm excited to hear more about it down the road.
Yeah, it was kind of weird when I was watching it because for a while, I thought that was still a trailer for Fable. I was like, oh, are they showing Fable again? But, it kind of, I know it's a video game, but it kind of reminded me of the movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's this Disney movie, Coco. Have you seen that, Ray?
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard
Well,
of it, but I haven't seen it.
yeah, it's about a kid that goes to the underworld, for the Day of the Dead, which is a big holiday with I think it's Mexico. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of, and I was like, oh, are they making like a Coco the game? But I don't know. It seemed
Looks a little
weird
more
because
intense than a kid's cartoon.
wasn't it something like she had like a lasso of light or something like that?
It was some kind of charm that she drug a string type thing out of. What she was going to do with that, I don't know, or what it did. But that's, they left you hanging to find out later.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I mean, yeah, that seemed interesting. I mean, I'm not sure what to make of that, but one of the
Yeah.
games that seemed really interesting to me was I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but it looked like it was called In Exile, and that was the one that me and you were watching, and we were like, oh, it's very steampunk clockwork type stuff, and I think that was part of the name, right? In Exile, Clockwork Revolution, wasn't it called? Or am
Clockwork
I just
Revolution was the name of it. In Exile's the studio.
Oh, that's
Just,
right.
just
That's right.
making
So yeah, my bad. I had it all mixed up.
it. But it
Yeah,
did have that
Clockwork.
Bioshock vibe to it, which was
It
really cool.
it really did. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm very interested in it. I hope that it does use that Bioshock vibe because Bioshock's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I still go
So
back and replay that one.
yeah, like I think yeah, when we were watching that, I think that's what we thought was that it was the next Bioshock because when you watch the trailer, which, I mean, hey, go YouTube it. When we watched the trailer for Clockwork Revolution, I want to say it looked just like BioShock Infinite, right?
Yeah, it had a lot of similar artistic things to it. A little more steampunk than I think Infinite was, but yeah, you can kind of see influences of that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that BioShock Infinite was very steampunk-ish, and had a lot of steampunk vibes to it.
Yeah,
So
but this was even more so, especially when you looked at the weapons and things like that. They really had
yeah,
a steampunk look to
yeah. So
them.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the spiritual successor to BioShock Infinite. I don't know. But yeah, that's what really grabbed my attention. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the time manipulation thing. You kind of here you do have your action, and you go back in time or whatever and see what the result was. And
Yeah, I mean, not like Dishonored at all.
not at all.
uh,
But outside of that, another game that stood out to me, which I've been looking forward to since the original trailer they showed us. Shoot, I don't remember when that was. Been 2 years ago, is it? For Avowed, and they gave us a date of 2024 or a year at least, so we know it's coming out in 2024. It has sort of a Skyrim vibe to it. It's supposed to be set in the Pillars of the Earth universe, which I know a little about, but I have not played any other games from that universe. I think I've seen some, like, I don't know if it was a movie or something I saw that was that, but it looks interesting. I know there was some commentary about the art style of it, that it didn't look quite, I don't know, not quite as finished looking, which I don't expect it to be yet. I imagine they've got a lot of texture and stuff that they'll add to it over time. Kind of for that first trailer we saw, which was just cinematic, it had a more Skyrim finished look to it, whereas this looked, I don't know, brighter in color without quite as much. Some of the textures looked like they were missing, maybe. But I imagine that's because it's still a.
yeah, I remember when I saw that trailer for Avowed. When I first saw it, I got my hopes all up. I was like, "Oh, is this a new Elder Scrolls game?" And you just looked at me like, "No." You were looking at me like no, they're still working on Starfield, and I was like, "Oh yeah." Got my own hopes up because
Right?
I started thinking, oh well, since they're close to being finished with Starfield, maybe they're getting the gears turning for the new Elder Scrolls game, but yeah, I guess not. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, like that was my major hope for that, but yeah. Other than that, did you have any other standout things that really popped off to you that you want to talk about?
Those were the main ones. I didn't really have anything else. I mean, there was a few other games that looked kind of interesting. 33 Immortals, Payday 3, but those are ones that I'll wait and see how they look when they come to Game Pass, and I'll try them out, and we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. It's our first video podcast. Tons of technical difficulties, but hopefully we'll get that all sorted out.
Right?
Don't forget to comment and subscribe to our podcast. Follow us on our socials, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're thinking about getting a TikTok to upload short form video clips. And also subscribe to our YouTube. Because, yeah, right now we have a big old 0 subscribers. Actually, we might have like 1 subscriber. It might be like a friend of mine or something. But
It'll be your mom.
you can also support us on Patreon. You can support us by getting this sweet, sweet merch. It's on our website. You can also see everything we're doing on our website and all our social links up at the top. So we look forward to getting any support and seeing you all there and making more of these video podcasts. And again, they're on YouTube, they're on the audio podcasts. They're going to be everywhere that I can figure out.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We hope to see you soon.